Alright, shalom, shalom, shalom. This is Great Mountain of Virginia, as always, to give you the latest news, articles, and lessons through the spirit and the power of Yahbashim Yahshai. But as always, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashim, Rakakwadash. I want to say double honor to the elders of Great Millstone who were well teaching the truth, and of course, I want to say peace and blessings and salutation to Yaakam that's putting his truth throughout the four corners of the earth, sincerely to the best of the ability, sky out the four corners of the earth. With that, I want to say shalom. I just wanted to make this quick videos. I know that brother posts, brothers got their own group page, and brothers, posted some, pictures and links and stuff like that, and read, what they had to say, so I want to get my little two piece on it, and I just want to say, brother was saying how, I'm saying that we got to be careful with these types of women, and the saying is, a picture say a lot of thousand words, all right, and I just want to say, as well, did some research before I get into that. I just want to say, brothers, man, we got to be careful of what type of woman we were dealing with. I'm sorry, what we deal with, all right? We know that, when it comes to the truth, when you be a certain amount of years, when you watch a lot of MGTOW movies and, not movies, videos, and, at the end of the day, real men are waking up to the truth, man, about how these women really is. And like you said, you can really tell about a lot about a woman, about how the way she walks, how the way she talks, what she's into. When you do a little research about her social media. You could type of woman, like I said, men can tell. Like I said, a lot of women can tell, from men about if they have a lot of women, if they're not cool, if they got no resources, or who they control. Same thing with men, man. It's just as I said, like a little natural selection. But I'm not really gonna get into it. So I was flipping a couple of pages, and so basically, So basically, like you said, you can read it. It says the name Jasmine the Wizard. And like you said, a lot of these women, they deal with certain men. We know that, like you said, if majority a lot of these men, some women, they pick the wrong type of men. And, that's why it's important that, it's like a woman shouldn't sleep around with multiple men, because this is the outcome, man. All right. Because we know that it's factual that, like you said, we know that spiritually it's already there, but even physical, because they tell you that if man and woman come together, it's really a spiritual connection. So if you see a wicked man messing with an innocent woman, when she's pure, when she applies the 5 her age and she hasn't been intimate with anybody, that man's spirit and DNA goes into that woman, all right, and it stays there forever, especially if there's not an upright man, he leaves that woman, now the woman is confused, crying, especially she never had a father in life, all right. Now she starts to think of herself as her self-esteem. Her self-confidence goes out the window. And now she goes to the next man, to the next man, to the next man, to the point that her soul ties are pretty much destroyed, where she think that, having intimate, is not spiritual anymore. That is just something something normal. When we know that, being intimate is really a spiritual connection. But that's, but of course, this is what happens, man, when you don't have parents or a upright society, man, especially in America. That's why relationships don't build anymore. There's no relationship, there is no love, there's no trust. That's what they call like a hookup culture, man. One night stands, all this madness, man, it's just bringing out confusion. That's why a lot of these women have multiple baby daddies. Multiple daddies, but then you have multiple kids, and that just brings a lot of trauma, man. And that's how you know that we're under the curses, because it's a generational curse, man. But of course, I digress. But that's the more important. Now women start to get tattoos. All right, now they start to go into spirituality. All right, and this is the result, man. All right, but let's read what she has to say. It says, as I always state on my page, we talk about every religion because I truly believe there's a bit of truth and wisdom into everything. So when we look into this verse, it reminds us that your true recognition will come from people outside of your immediate circle. This happened with the Ortras as well. There's plenty of stories with them to be to be overlooked within their own homes, only to be viewed. So why is the actual ignition rather than self initiation so important? To think as self-diagnostic rather than going to an actual doctor, not usual the best idea. I'm going to explain why it's important to actually get initiated rather than self-initiation. Your Baba elder are familiar and educated when it comes to dealing with Osha, spiritual Osha, all that bullshit, And as you can see, how the way she dressed and how she used, I forgot what that thing is called, they use it for spirits and conjuring spirits. And this is, what I'm saying, you look at the other page, she says what she wants her husband back because he cheats, which we know, there's no such thing as cheating because we know that men have multiple women, but the society doesn't know that. It says, I'm available for any kind of spell. And this is what? As you can see it, that's demonic. What do you see? You see candles, you see Cedric Berger, you see all this other stuff, and you see this man picture, all right? And you see right here notes. And we know that she's intenting to spell. So I was doing some more research. So I looked on the Facebook. Give me one sec. You know what I'm saying? You just look on her page. You know what I'm saying? Right here. I mean, just how the way she dressed, you can just see. Tattoos. She got a snake. Earrings. Dreads. Hey, like you said, man, if you see a woman with dreads, you got to pay attention to, you know what I'm saying? In these type of people. I mean, like you said, you just see she got a nose ring. There's a scripture on that. I forgot where it was, man. It talks about a nose ring. Hopefully I can find it. But you can see how she just, the scripture says about putting inks in your body. Look at, she got the cheetah right there on the side arm, like you said. And she got a neck tattoo and her right there in front of a stomach wizard. Come on, man. That's why, man, you got to be careful, man. Like I said, when you see a woman with tattoos, man, you got to run, man. All right? If she's not, humbled herself or, or how you say, how should I say, not cleanse herself through the word of Yahweh Shem Yahshai, where she humbled herself, she want to come back to her, because we know that, there are harlots out there. But if they are truly and sincere, want to really cleanse themselves spiritually, through Yahweh Shem Yahshai, that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. But these type of women, you know what I'm saying, you can't deal with them. Actually, as a fact, like you said, we got to stay away from these type of women, man, because like you said, they're going to put spells on you, man. And like you said, we had I'm going to put his business out there, but actually we had a former camp leader. And like you said, man, that was this type of woman, man. And next thing you know, he talked about all these chakras and, all this stuff, man, that really almost destroyed our camp, man. So the Lord had to put him out of there, man. But of course, I'm going to keep going. I mean, you really got to think, what type of Akim with any type of standard would date these type of women, man? Like you said, they got all types of demon Jezebel, man. The scripture talks about in Job how she deprived her of wisdom, and like you said, any type of woman that say they spiritually free or spiritual, all right, if they'll come in the doctrine of Shem Yahshai, they all wicked, man. It don't matter. Every woman is wicked, man. Look at her, just how the way she dressed. I mean, see through. You can see, her breasts. Like you said, the scripture talks about how a woman, supposed to be modestly apparel. That's nothing modest. That's manly. Like I said, confusion. You can totally look at her, man. Look at that. I mean, like you say, just like again, pay attention to the body signs and like I said, a lot of these women, they like to expose themselves. All right, we know that goes with a Luigi board, man. Talks about sexuals, power to power. That's what I'm saying. Like you said, look at this. Laugh my ass off. I think I traumatized my little kid a bit. I was doing blood magic a couple of days ago, and my daughter was supposed to be asleep. She come in and saw blood on my hands. She said, I'm not going to ask, and just backed up and closed the door. It's funny because I don't think she really cares about me being... But again, I don't want to digress, but this is a kid, man. And like you said, even kids are more spiritually, all right, connected, all right, at a certain age, man. All right, and she knew that shit was wicked, man. And like you said, that's going to traumatize her for the rest of her life, man. All right, her own mother. And she can't escape. Now she got to live with her mom. You know what I'm saying? And who knows that she might even try to influence her daughter to doing these type of wicked stuff, man. The father's already in, you know what I'm saying? We know that the father's not in the picture. But again, the scripture talks about what? Exodus 22:18, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live, man. That's why you got to put, like you said, that's an abomination, man. You got to put that thing out of here, man. Right here. Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 10. It says, thou shalt not be found any among you that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, that thou usest divination, or observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch. All right, enchantsmen, wickeders, false prophets, or anything like that, all right? Or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard. Oh, wow. Or a necromancer, which is what? Bringing people back from the living. We've seen that before. All right. I think it was with, I forgot what king it was. Let me see. I hope I'm correct. All right. That tried to bring, I think he tried to bring Saul back. I think it was, let me see. Oh, yeah. I think it was King Saul, man. He talked to them, a necromancer, I think, to bring, talk back to, talk back to Saul, if I'm correct. But again, Again, the point I want to make this point is that, we got to be careful of what type of woman you deal with, man. All right? These women are broken, destroyed. All right? And they got all types of spirits on them. And this is, this is why I wanted to bring this video out at the end of the day, man. So be careful who you dealing with, all right? Because next thing you know, you sleep with these women. Next thing you know, she don't, them demons already got up into you. And next thing you know, you start dealing with these types of shits, man. But, this is what I wanted to bring out. Hopefully, brothers edified. This is Great Millstone, Virginia. As always, they gave you latest news, article lessons through the spirit and the power of Bashim Yahushai. But as always, first and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor due to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rakakodesh. I want to say double honor to the elders of Great Millstone who rule over teaching the truth. And of course, I want to say peace and blessings and salutation to you. I come out there, pushing the truth throughout the four corners of the earth, so to the best ability, scatter the four corners of the earth. With them, say shalom.